I like the path of least resistance. Talking into a video camera and recorder is like scratching in the sand with a stick. The beginning of another week, Lohbado went for his morning walk. And often in the morning, listen to those seagulls, they're having a good time. Plus there's pigeons. I like walking in the morning, it makes me feel good. And also it's a good time to reflect on things. It's hard to reflect or contemplate because there's this urge to be distracted, to run around, to cruise the internet. People get on your nerves. Maybe you're in a relationship and you just wonder how much longer you can endure this other person. Or you're at work and the people are all jealous schemers and they all spread nasty gossip behind your back and you just feel terrible when you go there. And then finally one day you're retired, you're alone, and this is a perfect opportunity to stop and think or reflect or philosophize or be creative, whatever. And the first thing, my approach, the Club Murano approach, is to open up to the situation and be curious about it. The creative block is where you have preconceived notions or like and dislike, the way you feel this is what I want to do and I want to do it now and I want to do it this way. Whereas true creativity is where you're open and you let things happen. You let the world take over. You let the project take over. You let the forces in the environment take over rather than you and your little ego dictating, trying to run the show. Which maybe it works for some people, it doesn't work for me. I'm talking about how it works for Lohbado and Club Murano. And so I started out the walk with a sense of absolute and total desolation. And I stopped in this park because it's still cold this morning. Although it's going to get warm in another 2 weeks. So I'm the only one here because it's a little bit chilly. And it creates psychologically a sense of desolation. And then I was sat down to relax, and there's something about the desolation that kind of is like a tonic that opens the mind, and it's quite enjoyable. I can sit there endlessly and do nothing and nobody bothers me. And then your whole sense of self dissolves, because when you don't have another person to relate to, you start to forget who you are. Sometimes you can't even remember my name. It's really true. It's not just rhetoric that you're a grain of sand in a giant cosmos and that when you die, you'll be forgotten. The world was here before I was born. The world will continue after I die. And meanwhile, in between birth and death, you're just like a feather being blown around by various forces, and you think you're the center of the universe and you think you're in control. But really you're determined by causes and conditions, and then you die and you're quickly forgotten. And if you have this sense that you would like to leave a monument or that you're going to be remembered, just go to the graveyard, look at the thousands and thousands and thousands of graves and ask yourself, just stop in front of any random grave and say, do you know who this person was? And do you even care who this person was? And do you know what this person used to worry about? What were this person's hopes and fears? What were this person's opinions? Do you really care? Of course you don't care. And it's nice when you kind of put yourself in their shoes and you realize, yeah, that's me. And then what that does, it's not boo-hoo, oh, nobody likes me, nobody cares. It's an opening of creative possibility. The fourth dimension, as Deleuze would say. After you go through your philosophical exercise of logic and trying to make sense of things, and then you reach a wall of paradox, but then on the other hand, there's the fourth thing where you know what I mean. Okay, I'll get into this logique du sens later. I'm just doing my morning walk, philosophizing, fun, and cheering up. This really works for cheering up. Ultimately, that's what I'm doing, is trying to cheer up. So I wish everybody a happy day, and I wish that everybody could be cheerful.